Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, welcome back to Galactic Goddess TV. I'm Radha, and today we're going to be discussing the law of divine reciprocity and why this is so important to remember this law and what it means and what happens when people don't follow the law. There are consequences for that. So, let's just take a look at what divine reciprocity is and what is it is not. It is ultimately a sacred, energetic exchange. Divine reciprocity is the natural flow of giving and receiving between two or more beings in a state of presence, truth, and mutual respect. It's not about measuring every gesture or counting, I did this, you do that. It's about energetic integrity. So I give to you, you honor what I give, and you may not return it, but in some form you show your gratitude and your presence and you give it back through support. It reflects in a way of value. So I give you value and you give me back value. And it doesn't have to be the exact same way. Okay. But it's an energetic balance. I think any relationship requires divine reciprocity, whether that be with family, whether that be with romantic relationship, whether that be with work. So somebody you work for, they pay you, you help them out, and it's a give and receive situation. Um, so, this law is embedded in the architecture of the universe. Trees give oxygen. We exhale carbon dioxide. Bees pollinate flowers and receive nectar. Nothing in creation hoards or extracts without returning. This is the law. So, whether in friendship, romance, family, or business relationships rooted in divine reciprocity, it will create healthy, balanced, safe, nourishing containers for growth, healing, and evolution. And this is about overflow, not obligation. Like I found my dog. I found my dog on the side of the road. He was bloody and in bad shape on the highway, and I picked him up with my mom and took him home, cleaned him up, took care of him, and I poured into him, bought him food, gave him love. And he's a dog, so he can't do any of those things for me, but he gives me loyalty. He gives me love right from his heart, like the purest love you could ever imagine. And it's hard to explain. You can see that relationship with your animals. Like they will give you back 100-fold what you give them in love. Um, and it comes from overflow, not obligation. So true giving comes from overflow of love, not like the emptying. It's not about sacrifice. Divine reciprocity honors you, um, and it honors the other person. Okay, so there's an equal honor going on. It's about discernment and not codependence. So this allows you to discern who is truly aligned to you and that you're building something that is real together. Each is being seen as valued, and they're both engaging from their own sovereign light. So one's not feeding off the other. Like reciprocity is not vampires of any kind, narcissists, they can't do divine reciprocity. It's impossible. So let's talk about what divine reciprocity is not. It's not about transactional scorekeeping. It's not a tit for tat needing to have exact mirrors. True reciprocity honors the spirit and not just a spreadsheet. One person may offer emotional support, while the offer other may offer time service. It's ultimately about presence, and it's about the intention that counts, okay? Intention is everything. I'll give you a personal example. So, for example, with my ex cousin that I had, I poured into her. I poured into her dreams. I invested into her music. I paid for her out 2 albums because I also thought that I would be on the receiving end, as she promised that she was going to pay me back, and or that I would also get um a cut on the release. But that wasn't my main motivation for doing that for her. It was, I really believe in this person. I love this person. I'm going to pour into this person. I want to see her succeed because it brings me joy. And um, and then obviously I did a lot more for her. I would give her took care of her place to live, helped her out. I poured and poured, gave her my wardrobe twice, my entire wardrobe and all my jewelry twice, because she was always needing, right? And I just thought, oh, if I pour into her, like I know she'll invest back, she'll give back to me what I poured into her. Like I don't need it now, but she can pour back into me later when she's successful because I believe in her that much. So I wasn't just pouring financially, I was pouring my emotional belief, my encouragement. All of that. That's all divine, part of divine reciprocity. But if the other person doesn't give back and they just have no accountability after she stole everybody's money and was like, nee, 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 and then didn't give back and was like totally exploited the love, exploited the belief in her, exploited the true heart and the giving of not just a transaction, but actual love and devotion and connection and belief. Um, then she went off and thought she had won. She thought the winner took all. She took everybody's money. She walked away and she was like laughing and bragging that now her bank account was so full and basically, nee, 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 I'm never going to pay you back. You're done for. Um, Not only that, I'm going to do fraud on your name and identity theft, etc. Like that's pretty extreme. But then in her thinking that she was getting ahead by doing this, she also was trying to defame me. So she called the entire family and was making up crazy stuff that was actually all about her. She was just trying to deflect it because she couldn't handle herself and who she truly was on the inside. So it was really sad to see that she didn't have divine reciprocity, that at the end, when she got what she wanted, she destroyed the relationship. She damaged the relationship. She destroyed the trust so it can never come back. She never paid anybody back that believed in her, that invested in her. Um, she created chaos everywhere, fires everywhere, trying to make people like me look bad, and she had other victims too. And what ended up happening is everybody was just horrified. But in the end, everybody was like, oof, like, ooh, I'm gonna wipe my hands and I'm gonna close that door forever. So she thought she got away by not being in divine reciprocity, but actually in the end, all doors are closed. She can't come back to any of the family members that truly loved her. There are some family members that um you know, are on that frequency, so maybe they get along. But other than that, like nobody that has half a brain cell would ever, because they know that this person is a liability, that they're a financial loss, emotional loss, like mental, because she made people suffer. And so what happens is these people that think that they are taking and not, they think they're happy because they're not in divine reciprocity and they're getting ahead. But in the end, they end up the people who are alone, the people who are abandoned, the people who will die alone. And nobody would lift a finger for them no matter what because they have completely trampled on that sacred divine connection. They basically said, F you. I'm just going to take everything you have, even your pain, your suffering, your emotions. I'm going to create chaos. I'm going to steal from you. I'm going to lie, and I'm not going to give divine reciprocity. And so what happens to these people, at first when you're going through the pain of betrayal, you think, oh no, they really played me. But but in the end, they played themselves because losing a good person, it's not worth it. Once you lose the respect and the love and the loyalty of someone who has been so good to you, and you basically tell them F off, okay. I mean, the person will mourn because the person actually has real feelings. They will cry, they will mourn, they will feel, and then they will purge it out. And once they purge that out, there's no more coming back. That's why people who really are into divine reciprocity, they don't do second chances because we know that the person who committed these crimes against a relationship, they can't be healed. And I've had to learn that. If people ultimately think that they are above the cosmic law and they can just take and take and take and take without giving back, these people are narcissists and they literally can't heal. I know because I put her through Healing Academy. I got bought sessions for her. I thought, oh, if I bring healing to this person, but no, I had to learn the hard way. No one told me narcissists cannot heal. They can't heal. So it's sad, but you know, going back to this, the spiritual bypass or guilt manipulation. Um, so people who are out of alignment with divine reciprocity, the narcissist, they will guilt you to continuously give to them. And it's not divine to give endlessly while being disrespected, your value is being unseen or you're being exploited. It's not divine to keep loving someone who refuses to honor their word and that relationship and your light. So, unconditional love does not mean unconditional access. So, people who you think that you're coming into divine reciprocity with, but they break that, you can love them unconditionally from a distance, but they don't get access anymore. So you have to shut the door, put the locks on, and never open it again. Um, so another way to identify if you are in a relationship that lacks divine reciprocity is performance-based relating. Where you feel like you have to prove your worth by doing more to prove or to fight for this relationship. And divine reciprocity doesn't require performance to be loved. You are loved simply because you exist, okay? Yeah, because when you give your heart of any kind, whether it's family or friends or business partnerships, and when you give your devotion, that and love isn't always romantic. Many times, like it's like I probably loved my cousin like more than any guy, not romantically. I mean, my devotion to her was so 100,000%, right? So so another way is like if someone drains you, so notice when you're on the phone with somebody, when you're in front of somebody, are they draining you? Are they actually sucking your life force out of you while you're in connection with them? Communication in front of them. having a relationship with them of any kind, are they draining your energy? So that's a resource, right? Your life force energy is your biggest resource. Without that, you got no life. And so if you feel like your energy level is here and then it goes down while you're in talking to them because they probably are saying things that are dishonoring, um, well, then that's not a reciprocal relationship. And if someone is consistently just takes, takes without offering, see, it's like this, without offering energy, presence, support in return, they're so out of alignment with the sacred law. And I would say these people, they have no virtue um in martyrdom. So they're not willing to give up anything to be in this relationship. They expect you to be the martyr. You need to be the martyr, but them, no way. So this is extremely distorted. So I want you to start paying attention when you are hanging out with somebody, when you're talking to somebody. Is the conversation just about them? Do they ever ask you, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? And not just to get information out of you, but actually to care. So, and this leads to narcissistic bonding or false mirroring. Okay, this is really important, you guys, because with narcissist, they see you as that loving person. They see you as a strong person because you live from your heart, you live from your authenticity, and they secretly are jealous and hateful of that because they don't have that. They always have to wear a mask, right? And so what they do is they come into your presence, come into your energy, and then they start to kind of observe, they watch you, they observe you, and they start to kind of take on those characteristics. And again, using my ex-cousin as an example, she would always take on my characteristics. So I thought I was talking to someone that loved me the way that I loved her, but she was simply mirroring. And she would use a lot of the terminology I use. So she was just giving it back. But once I cut the cord and was done, oh boy, her true nature came out and everything out of her mouth was demonic, demonic, hateful, just demons coming out, a lot of hate and cursing. And so you will know if you are, what you need to do sometimes is kind of energetically pull away just to see what, if you're questioning, like don't communicate with that person, just see for a while, like pull the cords back, um get back your soul fragments, do a soul fragment retrieval, and then see what happens. um it's very interesting. It's very interesting. We empaths often think that if we just give our love and give more, that this person will understand that we love them and they will give back. But not with narcissists. They are taking machines. They're built and born for sucking time, energy, resources, your belief in them, everything that you value. So they just, they're like a black hole inside of them. So it's important to step away sometimes and see what's going on, very important. I always recommend doing an energetic divorce or soul fragment retrieval if you think you may be in that situation. So they may use your language, they may even mirror your deepest values. Like you tell them what you believe in, your values, but their energy only consumes. It never actually contributes. It's not divine. It is theft. So, divine reciprocity is clean. It does not come with like strings attached, hoping to control for a payoff later. It's like, hey, I'm going to loan you money because I believe you're going to pay me back. And later that person pays you back. Okay, great. And we're back to, back to being where we were. So if you're the only one giving secure loyalty, power, or validation, that is a wounded loop on your end. It's not a sacred exchange. And this is where you have to start valuing yourself more and saying, wait a minute, am I just building? This person's like a balloon. I give energy, they just keep getting bigger and bigger like a balloon energetically, their ego. I mean, I've been so surprised to see how that works. Like, I think people that are empaths, we don't get you can say like the nicest things to us, and if it's authentic, we really appreciate that. And then, but if you are a narcissist and you're saying crazy things, we understand that that's like narcissistic chaos. And so like we don't get moved, well, we learn not to get moved by compliments. Like we know that that can also be manipulative, right? So we're not moved. Like if somebody's really sincere and it's somebody we value, we really appreciate that because it's authentic and it's heart to heart. But also not really moved, not like, oh my gosh, now I think I'm this and I think I'm that and I'm above it all. We don't get moved by that because we know somebody just has to put one pin in and the whole thing inflates. So we don't do that because we're not here to have inflated false egos. Easy come, easy go. Okay. So I want to share with you, very important, what is a litmus test for divine reciprocity? So I want you to start just, you don't have to, you can just think about it. Like, does this person nourish me when I'm with them? Or do they drain me when I'm with them? Okay. Nourish, drain. Pretty easy to figure out. Um, is there like a mutual presence, a mutual presence? So give, take, or do these people just want to dump all their burdens and weigh me down, right? Do you feel weighed down after you talk to somebody, or does your heart feel open and uplifted? Do you feel seen and supported? Like, does the person you talk to ask, like, how are you doing? Or are they just coming in hot, just telling you this is going on and this is going on and this is going on and this is going on, blah, 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 blah. It's just a one-way dumping station. And so when you speak boundaries, do they respect them or do they punish you by gaslighting you, deflecting, or perhaps even just ignoring altogether? So, if your giving goes unacknowledged, if your love is only valued when you're sacrificing, if your worth is measured by what you can produce for them alone, you are not in a reciprocal divine reciprocity relationship. You are actually in a karmic loop, and that loop must be broken now. Divine reciprocity is not just a principle, it is a birthright, it is a boundary, it is a beacon, it is the golden ratio of the heart, the balance that blesses both the giver and the receiver. And when you live by it, beloved, you attract those who honor you at the deepest soul level. I mean, they have to be on that same frequency. So it's important to do the litmus test. Because the balance blesses both the giver and the receiver. And then when you live by it, you attract those who honor you as you truly are. You don't have to perform for them. You're not just a resource to extract from, but truly you are a temple to honor. And so I actually have a decree and I want to share this with you. Well, actually, I'm going to share a poem. Okay. I see you now. I see the performance, the flattery, the mimicry. I see the endless hunger behind your words. But I am no longer a feast for those who refuse to nourish. And so I reclaim every drop of energy, time, love, presence I gave under illusion of divine reciprocity. I revoke your access to my light. I dismantle the contract you never honored. I delete your name from my altar. And I do not hate you, but I do not carry you. May the law you violated teach you what I could not. May your karma return in the language you understand. I rise now, and I walk in the realm of the reciprocal, where my love is matched, where my giving is sacred, and where my light is seen, not devoured. It feels good to create boundaries, you guys. It feels good to stop overgiving into abusive relationships that take and take and take, but refuse to give back. So let the takers beware. Let the givers rise clean. The law remembers. The law restores. The law does not forget. So I just want to say thank you all for joining me today. Right below, have you ever been in a non-reciprocal relationship, and what was that like for you? How did you get out of it? How did you cut the cords? How did you create boundaries? Please share, because we're here to inspire each other. And I'm going to leave you with a decree because I want to empower you so that you can be sure that you are in reciprocal energies, because I know there's so many beautiful hearted people out there, and when somebody that has a pure heart gives and the other just takes and abuses and crushes their trust, crushes their heart, it can be very defeating to the point where you feel like maybe I shouldn't be that sweet. But the thing is, you can still be the beautiful being that you are. You just have to have more boundaries and to really check in and see who you're dealing with. You don't just blindly believe everybody's word. Okay, because not everybody has the best intentions. They love the lovers of this world, right? Because they don't have the capacity to love. Their hearts are black and their souls are empty. So here's the decree. From the primordial heart of the infinite creator, I rise now as a living flame of divine law. I call forth the seraphim of sacred scales, the thrones of celestial balance, the diamond councils of energetic integrity, and the keepers of the infinite cosmic record. Bear witness, O legions of light, as I stand in the full authority of my oversoul and declare every relationship, contract, and connection in my field shall now be examined through the lens of divine reciprocity. All of it. Every single one. I do not consent to one-sided relationships. I do not consent to being drained, to being used or abused. I do not consent to spiritual guilt, forced generosity, or emotional blackmail. I now recall all my power, love, time, and light given under the false pretense of love in obligation. I call now divine judgment on those that have taken without giving back. I summon the thrones of sacred balance and I declare, let their deeds be weighed, let their energy be mirrored, let their karmic field receive the return of all imbalances. If they took and took and took without giving back, they will feel the void. If they used and used and used, they will face their own mirror. I carry none of their consequences. I do not stand in their contracts. I stand now as sovereign light, and I give from overflow. I receive with sacred openness. I walk only with those who walk in divine mutuality, reverence, and soul truth. And so it is, and so it shall be, forever sealed across all realms and all timelines and all dimensions, past, present, and future. It is done, done, done. All right, beloveds, I will leave that decree below so you can use it. And I just wanted to wish you a beautiful day, and I hope this gives you something to think about. Until next time, much love. Bye for now.